Finding Calm in the Chaos. I am Denise Sith, and this is my podcast. Hello, everybody. It's Denise, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Finding Calm in the Chaos. I am Denise. This is my podcast. I feel like my microphone is weird right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe this will help. Anyway, how are you, my friends? I am what should be peachy and rested after a vacation. A little Friday through Monday long weekend to beautiful Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Unfortunately, I was fine until Sunday. And then that was the day that I did 10,000 plus steps. And just like when we went to Europe, 8,000 steps seems to be my lupus threshold before everything goes to the shitter. So needless to say, I was a hurting puppy, but I kept it up. And you just, if you have autoimmune, you understand. But, trial and error. I'm doing everything I can to try to figure out how I can do as much as possible without having this happen to me. And just right now, I got a new plan because I made it to about 8,500 steps and then boom, it hit me again. So, I pushed myself and then, bunch of chaos happened when we got home. The whole weekend while we were gone, from now on, I'm just going to have, the parentals are going to come watch the puppers. If you want to know what happened, I'm not talking about that today. Today, we're talking about living in the moment, especially if you have autoimmune disease. But if you do indeed want to hear the shit show that occurred while we were away and how it happened and just how I'm kind of learning how to take every day and that God has put this in my lap for something for me to do everything I possibly can. And after that, all I can do is be like, hey, I did what I could and what was called of me. And after that, it's up to the world, right? And people on themselves. Listen to Coffee Talk on Saturday. I talk it all about it. Make sure you're prepared because I literally am shot out of a cannon immediately. And we just go into the story. And it's a doozy. Just going to warn you. There's a lot of cussing. So I think that what people are doing today is basically everybody living this fake life. And we've talked about this in earlier podcasts about how I would rather be real than perfect because nobody's perfect. I'm certainly not. Good Lord, I'm not. But I like to be real. And that sometimes is kind of ugly. And ugly is okay. We are obsessed in a world where everybody has to be picture perfect. You have to have all the likes. You have to have all the views. And quite frankly, I'll be honest, I was there for a short moment. For a hot minute, I was there. It almost identified who I was. And then once I stepped out of that, MLM, I'm gonna try to slide it into every episode. Once I stepped out of that, I realized that it wasn't about anything on social media. Social media is just full of shit. It really is. If it's not being used for actually being social, it's bullshit. If you're trying to sell something, it's bullshit. It's fake. If you are showing me every day your perfect fucking makeup and your perfect hair and you don't sweat, apparently you have no fucking pores in your body, okay? And you never have a bad day and your clothes are perfect and from the designers and look who sent me this. It's bullshit. It's all fake. I want to see you roll the fuck out of bed in the morning and you just need a cup of coffee. That's all you want. It is your sole mission that morning because that's how crappy you feel. And then you walk into your kitchen and you don't have coffee, or your Keurig is broke, or your espresso maker that you just spent $7,000 on doesn't even work. You don't know why. That's what I want to hear. That's real. And that's what I think is this disconnect in a lot of people. And you see it a lot on vacations. In fact, I just saw this. What made me think of it, not was my vacation, but from one of my friends on social media. She went away, and it happened during the Microsoft 365 meltdown. And she flew Delta. There's your first issue right there. I never fly Delta, nor would I ever fly Delta, but whatever. I don't care. Delta, if you are fucking worried about my little podcast and the fact that I said that, call me and I'll give you, you better block out at least an hour and I will give you a list of shit why I don't fly your airline. But she flew Delta, was basically just treated like poop and told that they weren't going to do anything for her. It's like, wow. And she wound up flying my airline, my favorite airline, home. They took care of everything and gave her a voucher. Like, stop it. So I was pretty excited, but I knew multiple people who got screwed by Delta that day. And so that kind of stinks. And I'm like, no, it didn't affect us at all because we drove to Canada because we're from the Midwest. And it's like within a day. So like, hell yeah. So we flew, we did not fly. So we didn't fly. I was going to say we didn't flew, but hello. We didn't fly. We drove. And it was a great drive. We got there. The weather was perfect. My car, Jojo, got new tires. It was kind of wonky. The first half of the drive there was wonky because if you've gotten new tires, so apparently they are like super shiny. And then like the shiny part, you got to like break them in apparently and wear that shiny part off. And sometimes you get like this cloud glide, which I'm like, what, is this safe? But apparently it is totally safe and it's okay. It just feels that way when you're driving until you hit like 150 miles on the new tires, and then you're fine. So once we got halfway there, she drove like a champ. The tires were awesome. It was a nice drive. And we were like, okay with that. But like the first half, I was like, this stinks. I don't like this at all. So I drove until like the first break, and then Mr. Sith drove the rest of the way there because he's a rock star. And then we got to the hotel, and I just thought, sometimes I used to be so finicky about stuff, and I still am because OCD, duh. But I just feel like I let more go during this vacation because I didn't want to freak out. Didn't want to have like an anger issue. Did I have some moments when I was in pain? You bet your ass I did. Because what happens is I can't continue to be the mom and the wife who are doing everything when I'm in DEFCON 1 lupus flare. You know what I'm saying? And I will mention it a few times, but at any time, I do not have a husband who is just like, do you want me to like rub your feet? Do you want me to rub like your shin or your calf or your knee or something that'll help circulation? No. And when it's so desperate that I ask him, I instantly regret that I asked because he puts like a minus 680 effort into it. So it agitates me. But yet somehow that's like self-induced, right? But I just feel like I could have more in that category. I'm planning everything. I'm doing everything. I packed everybody. I made sure the car was great. I got all the funding together. The least I can do, because I'm the saver. So when we go on vacations, I'm the person responsible for all that. I do all our bank accounts and stuff. I just feel like when I could barely get a sandal off my foot because I'm so swollen, that the least someone could do for me would be like, can I help try to circulate some of that swelling up? Right? No. So there's that. When we checked in, it was fantastic because they asked me if I wanted an upgrade. And I was like, well, I bought like the top room. What's there an upgrade to? Because I wanted a full Canadian view of the falls, the Canadian Falls view. And so that's what I had. And I'm like, I like to be like further up. Like, is that what the upgrade is? That'd be cool. Like on a higher floor. He's like, well, no, I could put you on like 27. I'm like, oh, that's great. Right. That's like right in the middle. But I can move you to a view that sees both the American and the Canadian Falls, plus like the downtown, like, the little like boardwalk area where they got all the restaurants, like the mini Vegas. There you go. The mini Vegas, with the Ferris wheel and all that. He goes, and plus you'll be able to see the fireworks there every night at 10 o'clock. And here's me like, wait, yes, please. Yes, please. I would absolutely love that upgrade. So I felt some good energy, like right off the bat. It was a really nice room. For those of you who follow me on social media, you saw the pictures. It was really nice. Seeing the fireworks every night. It was very just relaxing and therapeutic to hear the falls at night. We had a window that opened only in Canada and other countries. Any place but the US would they have anything above the 20th floor that you can open a window. Insane, right? I'm like, yeah. But we had fun. We opted to skip the boat because apparently it's just 20 minutes. You get wet and that's it, right? And I'm like, well, that's kind of boring. So we actually we met, so let me back up, like beep, beep, beep. We're enjoying ourselves on vacation. And I really wanted it to be about connections, not just amongst us as a family, but among other people. And so we met a family that I have been friends with on Facebook since the cereal box video. And they're the Barrett family from Scotland. And we found out that she was from Wales and he was from Britain. So he's English. So I thought this is awesome because we took a picture together. Her name is Paula Ann. And we took a picture together and the way we are, and it's so hot and sweaty, we both look like super freckled and super blonde and red. And I'm like, we do look like sisters. It's crazy. But you know what? I have Welsh blood as well. So I feel like there's that. How awesome is that though? We had a great time, met their family. We enjoyed it. I love and I was so proud of Mr. Sith. You guys, I got to toot his horn for a minute. So you guys know he's pretty shy. He doesn't talk. He doesn't, he kind of just like, is the observer. But I will tell you, he got right into a conversation with Darren, who was Paula Ann's husband, and it was great. And she has an older son, Christopher. He was there with his wife, Gemma, and their beautiful little girl. And it was awesome because he was like entertaining Peter. It was fabulous. We had such a nice time. I wish we were able to meet up one more time before they had to leave the next day. But our family, the very next day, our family from Toronto, so Mr. Sith's uncle, okay, originally from Slovakia, his aunt is from Czechia, obviously formerly both of the former Czechoslovakia. They came, when they came to America, they went to Toronto. Now they met in Venice, which is awesome. I learned all these things about them and just seeing like their marriage and how it's progressed. And Marie has suffered some medical stuff that I'm just totally not at liberty to share with anybody because I don't know that she would want that. But she has had some medical stuff going down and he has stepped up into this caretaker role and just kind of like guiding her and, making sure she was drinking water and staying hydrated. And she's just adorable. And it's the first time of me meeting her or my son. Peter met his striko, which is uncle in Slovak. He met him when he was an infant. Obviously, he doesn't remember that. But it was so wonderful to connect with them. So I felt like we connected with new friends. We connected with family. How much more awesome can this get, right? It gets more awesome. So then we decided that, so Friday night, we were like hanging out with the Scottish family. And then on Saturday, we hung out with our Slovak family and Czech family. And then we did like, just like look at the falls, pool, dinner, like Saturday night. Cause mind you, we've been running around. Okay. And then on Sunday, we decided we were going to do like all things Niagara. And I knew that this was going to be the make it or break it day for me. So let me explain that if you do not have autoimmune disease. So when you have plans with people and they have all of these awesome things they want to do, and you look at them all and you know you're going to do it all. Okay. And sometimes you physically can't. That's a whole nother story. But you know that 3/4 of the way through the plans for that day that you're going to be done, swollen, inflamed, in severe pain and discomfort, and possibly, because this is always in the back of your head, especially if you have lupus, I'm assuming it's the same for like MS or other autoimmune diseases, there's always the possibility that you're not going to be able to go on and they're going to have to call emergency help. I'm not even joking, guys. This is the life for me with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. And so what I do is when I travel, I wear my Fitbit. I don't really give a shit. Here's the secret. I don't really give a shit how many steps I make in a day. I don't care. Okay? Just so you know. I wear it so that I know how many steps I've walked before my lupus says, done. You're done here, girl. Sit your ass down or I'm going to start swelling this ankle up so that every time you walk, it cuts, your sandal cuts into your ankle. Oh, you're not listening to me? Oh, don't worry. I'll start swelling your other ankle now. Will you listen to me now? Oh, no? Well, let me screw the swelling up a little good. You're used to babying your left leg, so let it happen to your right leg. So then I'm swelling on the leg I'm used to being bad, which is my left leg. And then my right leg, suddenly midpoint, about 8,000 steps, my sciatica started. Just a little bit right under the butt cheek. But then when I kept pushing it to 9,200 steps, it was like, so you want to play? Let me see what I can do to her now and push her. Let's see how far I could push her. And so then my sciatica raged from my toes on my right leg all the way up to my mid back. And then I got shin splints in that leg too. It was awesome. I'm saying that facetiously, of course. It was horrendous. But yet I walked through tunnels, wet tunnels at that, and waited in line in said tunnels, because that's what you do when you're on vacation and you're healthy. Lines are no big deal. They're just part of the deal. It's part of the day. It's what tourisms do. Tourisms. It's what tourists do. Well, let me explain something. It's not what fucking people with lupus do. Okay? It's not. It's nope. Not gonna happen. Lines are danger, Will Robinson. Okay? That's what they are. If you do not know that reference, please Google it, because shame on you. It's just not gonna happen. So I knew we skipped the boat because I'm like, you know what? I feel like this needs to be a little more like educational as well. It's just a boat. Who cares? So on the advice of Striko, our Slovak uncle, he said, hey, you should do like the power station. They got all sorts of stuff in there. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we did. So we did the power station. And of course we walked there. And then it was really nice. It's like self-guided tour. You get like a little thing with the, on a little lanyard, whatever they're called, right? You could put it around your neck and you could just scan and it just beep, right? And you could listen to whatever you want to listen to. It was really fun. They had a couple interactive displays. And then at the back of the power station, up on the ceiling, is a Tesla coil. And they still do running demonstrations of them to William Tell's Overture. Hello. It was so fun. And then it was somebody's birthday, so they did a happy birthday one too. It was pretty cool. But yeah, first off, if you've never seen an actual Tesla coil, it's pretty cool. It was loud, but it was pretty cool. Like I'm like, hey, I would do this again. This is cool. And then from there, we went down to the tunnel, they call it. So there was a lot of history and a lot of educational little tidbit facts about them building that tunnel initially. And I thought, this is so great. And that tunnel is when I was at about 8,500 steps, because I'm feeling it. Every time I'm stepping, I'm feeling it. By the time we got out of that tunnel, spectacular views, by the way. I enjoyed every minute of it. I took my pictures. I didn't complain. I just warned everybody, just so you guys know, like, I'm really starting to feel it. I'll be honest, whether or not Mr. Sith or Peter hear me when I say that, meaning that I think a lot of people with autoimmune, when you tell people that you're in pain and that you're at a threshold, because it's part of your life, I don't think anybody really cares or listens anymore. They're like, yeah, I'm going with Susie, and halfway through, she's going to tell us how much she hurts. And then we're all going to ignore her because that's what Susie always says. And then, then Susie, they're planning like doing another 6-mile hike to something else. And Susie's just like, yeah, I'm going to go back to the hotel room. And then everyone's just like dogging on Susie. Oh, you always go back to the hotel room, girl. Like, why can't you just do stuff? Why do you come on these? Fuck you. Fuck you, Susie's friends. Okay? She tried to do as much as she could, as do I, and lots of other people with autoimmune. Okay? She's living in the moment till she absolutely cannot anymore. And mind you, it doesn't just end at the end of the day. Like, we don't wake up and there's like a do-over, okay? It doesn't work that way. Sometimes if you push too long, there is no do-over. Now you're in recovery, okay? And you're going to have a period of days, sometimes weeks, that you are in pain and not feeling well before you can find your recovery day. So we really do have to be picky and choosy what we're doing. You know what I'm saying, friends? Okay? So be nice to your lupus friends. Don't make me come after you. I'm serious. So yeah, I knew I was kind of pushing it at that point, so I wanted them to know. So then we did Journey Behind the Falls. Now, at this point, we already bought tickets, so it's like, okay, let's sit down, have a little something, a little snack to eat before we go in, because we'll eat something, nice at dinner later. But like, okay, right? It doesn't matter, just so you know, if you go to Niagara and you are buying blocks of tickets, meaning they tell you, well, what time do you want to go? And you're like, well, I'll go with the 12:30 block. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to walk right in at 12:30. That just means they know how many tickets to sell between 12:30 and 1, so that it's not a complete shit show. You know what I'm saying? So you just go with the expectation that you know that, because although our tickets were at 12:30, we didn't really actually get into the tunnel until like 1:10. Okay. And it was fun. It was fun seeing all the different people come out, and we're like, they're not even wet. Why do they have rain slickers? Like, why do we have these plastic bags on us again if everybody's coming up dry? I'll tell you why, because they didn't go to that particular tunnel. So there's 3 tunnels in Journey Behind the Falls. There's the like A and B one. So they're like behind the fall, like actually behind. You look out the tunnel, you can't see out of the tunnel because it's raging waterfalls. Okay. And it's really loud. Plus you're in a tunnel. So if you're claustrophobic, this probably is not the sightseeing for you. But it's just so cool to know that these tunnels were built at a certain time. I don't know when, because I don't have that kind of memory capacity, but they were old, just like the tunnel by the power station. Still had the original brick. Like, wow, these guys knew how to build shit. Just saying. But yeah, it was kind of cool to just see all that. And then there's a gate so that, stupid people just don't like walk out and fall into the falls. Back in the old days, like the people in the barrels. So there's like a little gate and you take your pictures, and unless you have like a phenomenal camera, nobody can really tell because you're just like everything's black but the hole behind you. And then you go to the second one, which is in a different area, and they tell you on the little map things on the wall, like where you're at. And then then there's the fun one. So I think you should, when you come down, you hang a right, just do all those tunnels first. And then do the tunnel that's right under the falls. Now, it's not in the falls, but it's right under the fall. Like, it's close, okay? Because when you go out there, it's like a double deck. So people take some pictures from the top and then you can go out onto the big deck that's not covered. And you're going to get fucking soaked. Everything is puddles there. So if you have sandals or flip-flops, your feet are getting soaked. It was so much fun. Normally, I'm going to be honest with you, I'd be miserable that my feet were going to get wet, that the rain slicker like hoodie wouldn't stay up on my head because it was so windy. So I just took it down. I'm like, I'll just be wet. I don't care. I got glasses. I have my sunglass things on. I don't care. They're going to get wet. I had issues with that in the past. We took some great pictures. We had a blast. I would say that we really didn't have any, what am I looking for? Like the terminology, greedy visitors. You know what I'm saying? Where like everybody wants to take a picture. So here's the thing. So nowadays, and you will find this when you go to Europe, trust, you're going to find this when you go to Europe. The influencers. And those are the groups of young girls. And then you really know like the super influencers, the one that are actually influencers. They're the ones that come with people and lighting and props. And they will find an area. And are they entitled to that area? No. Will they stay in that area and take pictures and not care that 100 people all paid to go on vacation there? No, they don't give a shit. So you got to kind of like make your own way. You know what I'm saying? But these were just like some girls who wanted Insta pictures, right? And so they were sitting there and we wanted to take pictures by the falls and like everybody. So I'll wait, but there's 3 of them and they're all like approving their pictures before you could stop taking pictures. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hey man, I just want a picture of my fucking kid. Like, can we just like move this along? So I waited for the second girl and she didn't like her pictures. So they had to redo them. And then the one girl who was waiting, she said, oh, I'm sorry. Are you waiting? Do you want to take pictures here really quick? And I'm like, well, are you guys going to be long? And she was like, yeah, we are. And she tapped her friends and she said, let her take a picture and then we could take our pictures. Like, who cares? And they were like, oh, yes, totally. And they were so nice about it. Normally, I would have had in the past, old Denise would have had an attitude. She would approach that with an attitude, which is entitled as well. Don't think just because you're approaching people with an attitude because they felt entitled to take those pictures and take all the time in the world are any better than you are thinking, why are they taking so long? Because I need to take a picture. Think about it. When you look at it that way, it's like, how is anybody having fun if we can't just all take pictures? So I was just like, that is so nice. I said, okay. I go, well, make sure you stay here so I can call you guys over when we're done. So we took a few pictures. They were really nice ones too, because it was like the perfect angle on the Horseshoe Falls. And then I said, Pete, run over there and get the girl and tap her and tell her to come back. And they did. It was like that. We're like, thank you. They're like, thank you. And, have a nice day. And period. When you go in, I have found this some people might be like, duh, Denise. So duh. But when you are in a mindset for your life, like I was, and then you change it and you go in leading with kindness, it opens up a whole new world of responses feedback, just everything. And it really changes your life. It really, really does, friends. I'm telling you, it makes leading with kindness will change your life. It's changed mine. I'm not just talking crap, man. It does it. It certainly does it, man. So we did that. We went back. We had a great dinner. The restaurant, we loved the restaurant at our hotel. There's really no special restaurants. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. So Niagara is like mini Vegas on the Canadian side. Not going to lie. I mean, I've ate at Benihana. This is about as fancy as I get, right? It's just like an Outback Steakhouse, TGI Fridays. There was a place called Turtle Jack's. We went there for lunch. And then our hotel had the Keg, K-E-G. And they had good food. So I'm like, well, we're right here. Why not? Like, boom, get it done. Get it done, Siths. So yeah, we really, really enjoyed ourselves. And on the way home, might I add, well, first off, the night before we left, we saw the fireworks display was like a little bit longer. Mr. Sith is like, this is a lot longer than the other days. And I'm like, right? They're sending us off, man. They just know it. And it was just really nice. We got up early to go to breakfast so that we can leave and head to go see our friend in Ohio before we head home. Mr. Sith drove the whole way home too. He's a rock star. But I also had like raging sciatica and I drove home with my heated seats on because it was therapeutic. I'm not going to lie. I popped Tylenol all the way home and had heated seats on and it was 80 degrees outside. You know what? That reminds me. I said 80 degrees, but let me tell you this. I have never just driven into another country, right? I've just driven to other states, right? So this is the first time that I've driven into Canada. I usually took trains or was with other people. Let me tell you something right now. My car, you could switch it over into kilometers. I know that people are probably like, duh, Denise, but you know what? This was like, hey, I was so excited to know. Here's me. How do you know what miles per hour is in kilometer when we get to Canada? He's like, I could switch it right here. And I'm like, oh, can you really? I was so excited. And it was just like on the steering wheel. I'm like, stop it. I'm like, do all cars do this? I need to know this. He's like, I don't know, in all honesty. Does your car do that? I feel like inquiring minds want to know. Does your car just switch the kilometers in Celsius? Because it changed my temperature too. I was so excited. Like, don't even get me started. We had a lot of people also had asked on some of my posts where we parked. I'll be honest with you. I parked at the hotel. I paid for it, but it all paid off because it wasn't anymore. To me, it was $70 a night. It was 100 Canadian dollars, which is like $70 a night for US dollars. But let me tell you, I would pay that much to park in Chicago. So it was no different for me. I mean, if you're from South Dakota, you might not pay those premium parking rates. And kudos to you, my friend. I applaud you. But in the big old cities, you got to pay that shit to park. And I didn't want nothing to happen to my car. I didn't want to worry about people like, was it outside of a club? Somebody drunk that was like a drunk route, because it's everywhere you go. And I want my car to just be safe, secure, and easy access. You know what I'm saying? And I have handicap parking, which is acknowledged and recognized in Canada. So I can use my placard. So we got to park right in the garage and boom, boom, boom. And as a result of that, it double helped because my uncle driving down from Toronto, obviously he needed better parking for our aunt, who is a little weak right now. She's like, take it, a little step at a time. He didn't want to pay for parking because he knew it was going to be like $100 a night, right? Or $100 a day. So I was like, okay, why doesn't he just park at the hotel? Because we're a guest here. So they would be our guest so they can stay. They can't stay overnight, but they could park for free. And so when they pulled up, sure as it is, they asked him, why are you here? Are you staying? And he said, no, we're visiting from Toronto. We're here. My wife is, I'm going to drop her off and go find parking. And they're like, well, if you're visiting guests that have paid for parking, which we were, you get to park too. And so it all worked out. I was like, boom, how about that? Oh my God. So it was really exciting. I'm going to do like some scrapbooking. I'm still trying to catch up with house stuff right now. I'm actually taking a break in the middle of house stuff to record this podcast today. I was like, I need to record a podcast. But definitely, I'm telling you guys, you do not want to miss Saturday's poop show, coffee talk. Bring a bevy and big girl pants because there's a lot of cussing, not gonna lie. But it did not and will not spoil because we're still going through all the actions of trying to pull how we're going to approach these situations as they come up and go from there. I just want to report that the dogs are fine. Now they are. And Saturday, we explained it all. Everything's good. We're all good. That's it. I'm just picking up the pieces of my house a little bit at a time because I'm flaring. So there's that. But enjoy. I had a wonderful trip. I think everybody should enjoy their days. Does everything go right? Not really. Are things going to go wrong? Yeah, because that's life. But don't let it ruin your vacation. Use it as a way to enhance your vacation. What can you laugh about later? What can you do with this? For me, it's motivational because although I plopped out at 8,500 steps, it is motivating me to try to maybe do more cardio. I'm going to work on maybe some Pilates with my legs and stuff to see how I can help do this and increase my strength so that when we get back to Europe next year, that I can go longer, perhaps this time. Maybe it'll be 11,000 steps. Little by little, it's the trial and error of trying to figure it out. And such is the life of living with an autoimmune disease. It's not the same. What works for me and my lupus is not always going to work for somebody else and their lupus. It is so individualistic. And I totally think I just made that word up, but it is actually that. Individualistic. Autoimmune disease affects individuals differently. That's because our bodies are different. We are like these supreme chemical machines. You can't, for me, people are like, well, how do you know there's a God? Do you know how a human body works? That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't something blowing up and being like, by chance, look what happened. I made a human body system. No, it's pretty intentional and it's quite magnificent. So we are all unique in that everybody is going to be affected differently. That's why some medications work for some people, some don't work. That's why some people are allergic to stuff, but other people are not. It is what it is. We need to start embracing our uniqueness. I'm just intent on that. I will tell you what I did really find comforting when I went. And this is again, you're either going to be like, oh my God, Denise, don't talk politics on your podcast. I want to love you, but we don't have the same political views, so I can't like you. That's bullshit. Everyone knows that I am conservative in nature because I am Christian. And although I do believe in loving everyone, I have an acceptance policy. And like I've talked in my past podcasts, I just think everybody should be uniquely who they are in your house, in your yard. But once you start taking what's truthful and unique about you and insisting that everybody have it in their yard, not just your yard, and believing in your truth and discounting and wanting them to erase and ignore their own truth, that's no okay. You know what I'm saying? It's no okay. So it was interesting to hear from so many people in different parts of the country, including Canada, which I will say kind of helped me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That people were really, really leaning towards a conservative nature in life because the non-conservative has gone a little bazonkers. And so I'm like, wow, this kind of gives me some hope with the world that there's going to be, and of course, you know, just all that nonsense with the current presidency in America. And all of a sudden we've decided that our current president that's incapable is just going to disappear and someone's going to take over, and that nobody's going to provide us with an explanation or like a goodbye. No goodbye, Joe. I feel like that's just not okay. And I don't think that people realize that there's a procedure for that to happen. You just can't like swap people out because that's weird and shady. I'm just saying. If you do not live in America right now, you're pretty damn lucky because it is crazy balls here right now. So there's that. And it's only going to get more crazy balls. I mean, they tried to kill Trump. They made and then Uncle Joe disappears and nobody has seen him. And then all of a sudden, Harris, what the hell is going on? And people are not asking the questions. What is going on? No, seriously, this stuff used to make me so angry, like as soon as like 3 years ago. But you can only laugh because it's that ridiculous. It's that ridiculous. And you know what I'm going to do? Do you think I'm going to worry about an election? Do you think I'm going to worry about who wins? Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Right? No, I'm not going to care. You know what I'm going to do? Plan my next vacation to Europe in June because, hey-o, that is what matters in my life. That is what matters. All of that stuff, it's important, but I can't personally change those things outside of a vote. Everything else is out of my hands, right? All I can do is vote. If you're an American, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe if you're not. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there. I just totally snorted. I'm so sorry. That was a loud one. I'm not going to be able to edit that out, peeps. You can just be kind to people. Just don't demand that they like think you're amazing. I'm going to start walking around with a crown and just telling everybody I identify like as an actual royalty and queen, and that not like a queen, but a royal queen. And then just cut lines and shit. And then if people say stuff, I'm going to be like, but I'm the queen. Bet you people would have a huge issue with that. Bet you they would in the Niagara Falls tunnels. Oh my God. Okay, I'm being obnoxious. I'll stop talking about politics. But like you do need to vote. If you want to make a change, you need to vote. Don't vote because somebody's female. Don't vote because somebody is like, you really have to vote based on what is going to work. Don't listen to the news. This is my like PSA for USA voting. Don't listen to the news. Really do your own research. Get out of your echo chamber. See what's actually going on. Know where the economy is, where it was, where it's heading, follow the money. That always takes you to the truth. Following the money, my friends. All right, that's all I got to say because everybody's going to have a different answer about that too. And you know what? It's totally okay, even if it's different from mine. You guys have an amazing day. Enjoy your Wednesday. And until next week, make sure you listen to Coffee Talk on Saturday. Lead with kindness. Bye.